We'll see if the live stream connects. We have backup and recovery, so we have backup systems as well while everybody gets on. Let's see. And it looks great. Everybody on the first page is already on. Everybody looks great. In terms of everybody's, doesn't look like they're in witness protection programs. Okay, so we got the content minimized. Okay, so I'll do a couple of housekeeping routines, but my main function today is talking about data, extending data, looking at the past historical data, thinking about fintech, of what is automated trading systems. We'll talk about what are indicators, what are strategies, and how we can get the computer to trade for us using what we call algorithmic trading or algo trading. We'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages, and we'll cover the first exercise that you need to do. Okay, we're set on that. Brooke, any questions before we begin? So put it in the chat, Sophia. You'll look if some people are having, if you see kind of repetitive things people are asking about, feel free, Sophia, to stop me and say, can you repeat this? Can you show me what's happening here? Okay, and anyone that needs any personal issues, we know we leave that to the end of the class. I'll be happy to stay and answer any of your questions. Okay, also when you send me any emails, make sure you address what section you're in so we can deal with that. And then Daniel, if you can be so kind and stay with me at the end of the class, we'll try to do.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you. And we have Malik's camera's having some issues. Hopefully he can get back on. Okay, so let me share my screen. And I want to close this. So I know that I'm sharing my screen, which is good. And now I want to go to my Zoom. You can see everybody's here. That looks good. And we'll go to we did our Zoom meeting. We'll do attendance later on. Let's go to what's due. Everybody needs to see what's due. We know that today is February 21st. On the 19th, we had the data chapter due. Of the quizzes, and I asked you to look at the basics of algorithmic trading and the concepts, and what is automated trading, what are the pros and cons. For Monday, we're on the 21st. On Monday, February 26th, we have chapter 4, which is security, the Wiley Plus, and the quiz. And Daniel, are those available in our section? Can you check for me on that?
Yeah, they were available last time.
Yeah, they were available last time, so it's perfect. I'd like you to read the article of what is backtesting, what is optimization, and one more article. This was added, Daniel, of what is a simple moving average, what is its purpose, how does a fast moving average differ from a slow moving average. This is due your readings and your understanding. And these extra readings will be incorporated in the open-ended questions that I ask you on March 6th. So besides knowing it for our homework assignments, we'll have it due on March 26th. Okay, and a week from today, let me make this unhidden. we're on Wednesday. We'll be looking at an exercise called Trading Strategy, SMA, standing for Simple Moving Average Backtest Exercise. And in this case, we'll be using NinjaTrader to do a backtesting exercise. When I talk about backtesting, I'm taking a strategy and testing it in the past and seeing overall how it would have done had we traded that strategy. So we'll be looking at, and our objective here is to find the highest percent of net profit for a public company. So we can use NASDAQ, we can use S&P 500s, and this will be a group exercise in the way that each group, everyone in the group will be doing a different symbol. Other than that, everyone in the group will be doing their own exercise. You can help one another, but each person will do their own with their own symbol. And we're going to be using simple moving average that's built into NinjaTrader. And we'll talk about what is 1025. We'll enable that strategy. We'll export that strategy performance to Excel. We'll upload your spreadsheet to your audit group's trading strategy folder. And in the description, when you upload something, of course, you'll include your full name, the ticker symbol, name and the strategy name and parameters, the net profit, that's percent overall, the long, the short, and the date range. And you can look at attached documents here. Dylan did a PDF for the backtesting exercise, and then there's a PowerPoint. That's due on Wednesday. I'll go over this exercise today, and I'll answer any questions you have on Monday on it, so that way you have it due on Wednesday. Once you know how to do it, it's not that difficult, but it's the understanding of it. Okay. All right. So we have, I guess, the what's due section. We don't need to do anything else on that. So what you should have looked at among your articles, is you should have looked at these for last Monday, these on the basics of algorithmic trading concepts. Did you have a chance, to look at it? This one? We can,
Not.
in this class, if you try to fudge it, I'll ask you questions. So anyway,
Not.
Okay, good. So this is the article which states what is basic algorithmic trading. So what I suggest you do, Cy, is look that over, this article of basic algorithmic trading, an algorithm we said. And what I want you to do is, in this case, hold on, let me just stop here. In this case, what we need to know is what is an algorithm and how does it work in trading. So you can look at it on your own, but let's see what it says here. Let's see if you can hear it. Let's see, let's play it. Let's see. Let's see if it'll even work. And if it does, and now we have a little commercial here as it's going onto it. It's trying to give me a commercial, and let's see if we can get this to work. But basically, you can see here now how artificial intelligence is working on all these commercials as we go along with this. But we'll be talking about automated trading systems and how does this work. And this is going to be important for us to see how this is going to work. So hopefully, I don't know why we're getting all of this, right? So hopefully we'll get this with our what is algorithmic trading, but basically algorithmic trading is also called automated trading. A lot of times we have black boxes there that will work, but many times what will happen is we'll have issues where we'll be talking about it where it's based on the time. Historic information is the key here that we have. So let's see if this is going to work. If not, we got all these ads. You can look at that on your own. But basically, when we think about algorithmic trading side, what we're thinking about is combining computer programming and financial markets to execute trades at the moment. And when we're talking about that algorithmic trading, how it works, we have what we call, let me just put this in here. We have what we call technical indicators. You can put that in your notes. It's called technical indicators. And if I look at, for instance, even just go to Google and I type technical indicators, what are they? You can see the AI is generating it, but it says that technical indicators are mathematical patterns that use what kind of data, Cy? Future, present, or historical?
Future.
It's using technical indicators, use historical data. Everybody put that in your note. Technical indicators are going to use historical data, of course, to think about what's going to be in the future, to help basically traders predict future price trends and making trading decisions. Now, we also have something called strategies versus technical indicators. And what the difference is, you can put this in your notes, Cy, is strategies tell us when to enter a trade. So strategies include technical indicators and tell us or tell the computer when to enter and or exit the trade. So I have something called technical indicators, and by themselves, you can think about it as almost like, Cy, Excel?
I do.
Of course you do, right? You have formulas. And for instance, you have something that you could have a formula. You have a moving average in Excel. You know what an average is, right? Cy? An average is if I give you, you have 3 scores, right? 80, 90, and 100, and I ask you the average, and they're all weighted the same. It's going to be 90 is going to be your average. No big shakes there. Now, the question is, what is a moving average? Have you ever even heard of that?
I've not.
Okay, and what do you always say when you are thinking about a moving average and you've never heard about it? What should you be doing
Looking
in
it
this
up.
class?
Looking it up.
Looking it up, right? We're all
Okay.
doing that. So if I looked at the idea of a moving average, right? If I think about a moving average is what? It's a stock indicator commonly used in technical analysis, used to help smooth out price data by creating a constantly updated average price. A rising moving average indicates that the security is in an uptrend. So if it was in an uptrend, will we bet? What will we do? Buy or sell? Usually. Cy, you're on a roll.
Buy.
Buy, right? And if it
Yeah.
were in a declining moving average, either if we were in the trade, it'd probably be, in general, a good idea to get out of the trade, right?
Right.
Or there's something called betting that it will go down, and you know what that's called in trading?
Shorting, right?
Shorting. A short. A short means that the market is going down, that we can make money, that we're betting it's going down. A buy meaning that that it's average. So what we can do on a moving average, what does it tell us? What they do a lot of times, and you'll see it, I give you, for instance, the basics of algorithmic trading. I always also have an article on moving averages. You can have like a 50-day moving average. So what do? Every 50 days, you'll get an average. 100-day moving average, side, you're really on a roll, would be what? Every 100 days you would get it, and it would smooth it out. And one is going to be smoother than the other.
Okay.
The longer the period, it's going to be smoother than the shorter period. Because does the stock market just go, is it smooth? Of course it isn't. Is it linear? No. So they smooth it out. These are technical indicators they use in trading. Whether we can test that, and some people, finance people, some people don't even believe in it. But I guess enough people believe in it, it's almost like a halo effect. But these are indicators that we can look at it. You with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So now I have those indicators, and what I have then to make a strategy, Sophia, to have a strategy going is I use indicators and I place rules to it. So a strategy has rules based on it. So if I'm going to be doing any strategy, it's going to enter. So usually in a strategy, Sophia, I usually have if then rules. For instance, if something happens, then let's say I buy. Or if something happens, then, for instance, maybe I exit. Or if something happens, then, right, I short. And short means what? Betting.
Against the stock.
Yeah, betting it's going to go down. If I could type, it'd be good. That's why we need a computer. Well, I need an AI. Betting it is going down. These are examples. It could be a lot of things. And of course, when they think about sophisticated automated trading, they can get very complicated rules. But we're just going to look at it, Sophia, as a way into just to understand what is algorithmic trading, what we can do with data. You got it? And we can think about moving averages. We can think about a 10-day moving average or a 25-day moving average. Daniel, in the case, sometimes we call it fast and slow. So if we had a 10-day moving average and a 25-day moving average, which one would be considered a fast one and which one would be considered a slow one?
The 10-day But that's just because it's taking the average of the last 10 days closing prices, or if you're using day candles, or like 10
Yes.
candles closing
So
prices.
basically what you can think about it is the smaller the number of periods, the faster we're going to get a result. We
Well,
can
like
think about
if you see it on the chart and it's a 10-day moving average, that means the line will basically hug the price more closely than if it's say a 50 or a 100-day.
right.
But
And
like
we'll
you
look
still
at that.
see the result update every day.
Right,
It's just taking the last 10 candles.
right. Last 10 spots that we have. Right. So we're looking at a long bed, it goes down and a short. Any questions so far? So Ike, how we doing? So Ike, let's do this. Let's go to Ninja Trader and let's try to do the exercise, okay? So everybody, I suggest go with me. If you don't want to do it, that's okay, but sometimes you can almost finish the entire exercise. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to our courses. Right, I'm going to go to my courses. And I'm going to go to our section of H1, our regular course. And I can see in a number of different ways. What I'll do is I'll just go to web links. And I have Ike in web link. I have the Azure Virtual Lab. That's just because we're just using this to connect to get our windows. Everybody with me? So I can just open it in, I'm just going to open it in a new tab and we'll see what we get. And it says remote desktop. And it says they've done it for our school. They've created a virtual desktop on Microsoft's server somewhere that has Windows and some of its programs, Microsoft programs, plus they've installed Ninja Trader. And we can get in my class, only in my class, they've discovered it for us. We're lucky that we got it. And this says this student VDI is in the cloud. Sophia, here accessing local resources, meaning they're allowing you to access your own laptop that you have. And I'm just going to say allow. And it's launching that connection and they're only allowing it. They set it up for our credentials and I've given your credentials as well. So hopefully notice it's trying to give me space in the server only for myself. So Sophia, you have your space on the server only. When you're going to save things, it'll be Sophia's files. I have my own, but we have some common files that we're sharing together. So I have a lot more Excel files here because I've done demonstration before. You should have less. And I have some other things here that's available. But we're going to be using Ninja Trader as that platform, and we're going to be using it as 64-bit. And what I like to do is I just like to do right click so I don't, it's slower. My machine today is slow anyways. My internet is slowing me down. And then I'm adding more problems in the future. So now I'm just going to open Ninja Trader platform, which is a platform that we're just using on our own to emphasize the idea of what side of data and how we can look at data. Now, you may have some differences versus I've been in it today. If yours says error, just say okay. Does yours say error, Daniel? Are you going
Yeah, it
along
is an
with
error.
me? Hmm? This
What?
is the place where you should be.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in that place, Si?
I am.
Perfect. So the first thing, if I'm going to be looking at it, Ike, and everyone else, is the first thing, once you get to this part, look down below and you'll see a little icon and it says Control Center Orders. This is NinjaTrader. It's a platform they use. And the first thing that you need to do, and let me put it right here, is you need to get data. You need to connect to data. And we're going to use end of day data. We're going to make it very simple. A lot of times people use a minute data, they use tick data, they use 5-minute data. We're just going to do at the end of when, let's say at 4 o'clock when the market closes and we look at Microsoft, it's what is that end of day price, and then we're going to connect to that data and we're going to look at it for 365 days. We could do 5 years, Sophia, we could do a month, but we're going to do 365 days. So what should I do is the next part of what I should do. Then Justin is do what? I go to connections, and where should I go? Dylan Lee, where should I go?
Not sure, to be honest, Professor.
Okay, are you looking at my, oh, none of us are all sure. Do you see under connections here? Do you see where I am? Do you see my cursor?
Yeah,
What does it say under my cursor?
kinetic end of day.
Exactly. And what does it say in parentheses?
Free.
Right. That's the data feed we're going to use, right? We're going to use kinetic end of day. And if you don't remember that, I misspelled it, right? So it's KINETICK, end of day. And Autumn, did you hear a little sound? And how can you tell I'm connected? I see a little, on the lower left-hand corner, I see a little green ball. You see it, Autumn?
Yeah.
Good. Now what I'm going to be doing, Mia, is I'm going to be doing a chart. I'm going to go, I can do this many different ways, but for my exercises here, I want to show you, I want to do a new chart. So Mia, where do you think I should go for new chart?
On the upper left hand where it says new.
Exactly. I go to new. None of us were born with this stuff, right? And I'm going to go to chart. Now I can do it different ways. Just so you know, Daniel, I could just even without a chart, I just could go to strategy analyzer and do the same exercise and back test there.
Yep.
Did you hear that, Daniel?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so I can do it, but I'm going to do in charts because we can visualize it. Later on for our next exercise, we'll do strategy analyze, but the same data you could get with strategy analyze. So later on your own, Daniel, you can try that out. But at this point, I'm going to try to look at a chart. Now, in this case, when I want to look at a chart, what I want to pick is I want to pick a symbol. So make sure, I'm going to put in a note here for your exercise. You should pick a symbol different from each member in your group. And later on, we'll try to optimize it. So later on, you'll probably have to try out different symbols to see based on what we're going to do. But I'm going to select a symbol And usually the best ones to look at is either NASDAQ 100, S&P 500, or even the Dow 30. And if you know a symbol that you want to look at, that's fine. If you don't know a symbol, you can just pick on one of these. You with me, Mia? So you have a favorite you want me to look at, or you don't care?
I don't have a preference.
Okay. So let's see. The first one says AAPL. What do you think that is? And if you don't know, what do you think
Apple.
you should do? Apple. Okay, let's choose. You know Apple, so let's choose Apple. And the other thing that you need to pay attention to is under the data series, look at the type. I'm going to just write this down for a second. Under data series, the type should say day, because we did end of day. If yours says minute or something else, change it, just pull it down and change it to day. And you can see the days to load, we're going to leave it by default. By default, it will load 365 days. So it will, and the end date will be today. This is going to be important because in your work, you want to say, what is the range of dates you're using? Because it's going to make a difference. Sometimes we'll have to change strategies based on the timing. What worked, Leisha, what worked 3 months ago may not work now. You got it? So in this case, I just say, okay. So this is Apple. You can see I'm going to use this arrow right here. And that's why it's good to practice and do it while I'm doing it and practice. And in this case, Leisha, we're looking at historical data. So on October 27th, you can see that if I entered a trade and said, let's buy here, Leisha, and then I said to you, you know what, Leisha, on December 14th, let's sell. Let's get out of the trade. Do you think we made money or lost money? Had we done that?
Made
money, right? And if I entered the trade right now and I said to you, you know, Leisha, we don't know what's going to be in the future. Let's buy again. And then you say, Dr. Rush, let's get out. Let's get out on 1/5. And the next year, did we make money or lose money?
lose.
Lose, right? And so we can lose together pretty well. And this would be manual. So the idea is, you remember I said there were technical indicators. You remember that side? There were technical indicators that we used. And one of the technical indicators, we used what we called simple moving averages.
Is it
So let's
smooth?
pick, pardon?
Is it smooth? Like,
Yeah, smooth. Well, we can do, the reason we're using them is to smooth some of this out. So let's look at an indicator. I can find those indicators in a number of ways. I could right click in the black and find something that would say indicators. You see that? Or I can use this. If I go here, right next to strategies to the left, I have a little icon there that says indicators. Doesn't matter. I'll choose either one, indicators. And in the indicators, you're on the roll side then. What am I looking for? Something called what? SMA. So do you see anything called SMA here?
I do not. My screen.
Go down. Do you see it on my screen?
Oh, I see it. Yeah, the left.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's add it, or we can double click. We're going to double click and it says SMA, Apple, daily, and 14. But what did we say we wanted to look at? What were the days we wanted to look at? We wanted to look at, what was it? 10 and 25. I think that's what we said that we wanted to look at. We wanted to look at 10 and 25. So let's go back here and let's change the 14 to what? Let's change it to 10. This is not part of your exercise, but I'm showing you this. If you want to go along with me, sometimes it's good because it keeps you awake. And also it can help you. So I'm going to apply that and I'm going to say, okay. And you see here exactly what you said. It looks a little bit smoother, right? Every 10 days, it took the average of those. And when they average it, it looks smoother than this little bumpy thing. You see how it's more curved and it looks smoother. That's one indicator. And what did I say? I wanted to have two indicators, right? So I'm going to go back to indicators and I want to add another one. So I'm going to go down. I can do it in a number of different ways. And if I went down till I found SMA again, I'm going to add another one. And in this case, I want 25. So where should I change it? Right here where it says period. Do you see that, Ike, where it says period? I'm changing it to 25. And I'm going to even go down a little bit further. And you see this gold line here? My other one was gold too. You see this, Sophia, where it says here SMA and it looks like gold? I don't want to have two indicators in the same color. Because what? Then we won't be able to differentiate which one it is. So I'm just going to pull this down. And instead of goldenrod, I'm going to make it a more contrast color. So I can choose anything and you can choose anything. I'm going to choose dark turquoise. And I'm going to go up and say, hey, it's 25. So this is going to be, Daniel, compared to my 10, this is going to be my fast or my slow?
The slower looking one.
The slower one. And let's apply it. And let's say, okay. So this one right here is my slow every 25 days. It's my SMA slow for 25 days. And this one here, my gold one, is my fast every 10 days. Now, this is the good question that you'll have, Dylan Lee, on a test. These are indicators. Do indicators alone, will that tell the computer when to trade, when to get into a trade, when to exit a trade? Just by this? No. We need to give it rules, right? There has to be rules. So the rules could be, for instance, when my fast crosses below my slow, then I may do something. Maybe I'll buy or go long. Or when one goes above, I'll do something. Do you understand that, Lee? Right now, it's just, we'd have to look at it all day long. It's not doing anything. The strategy isn't doing anything for us. You with me? Dylan Lee, I'm just looking at indicators. I got the blue one is fast in that. So what I'm going to do right now is I can even look at any of these, right? If I looked at it and I can remove it. So I can remove this one. If I looked at this one, I can click on it and I right click and I can remove it. So now I just have the stocks here and it looks like down here in Apple, it looks like what? It's like trending downwards, right? The question is, what's it going to do in the next couple of days, right? We all can be brilliant and say, hey, here it's when it went up, but look at here, all of a sudden it looks like kind of choppy, went up a little bit and we'd say, oh yeah, we should have bought and so forth. So now I want to apply a strategy. How do I apply a strategy on any stock? And this is where you'll have your exercise to do. This is what you have to do. You have to apply a strategy. So how do I get to it? One is I can go to this icon let me make this bigger so you can see this. Can you see it a little bit better? I can go to the icon, or I can right click in the black and look for strategies. And there's some built-in strategies. What finance people do is they basically sometimes create their own, sometimes they buy others, sometimes they modify others. We're going to use, for right now, we don't even know how to use it, let alone we're not going to create it. But we need to know how to use it. We're going to use a sample MA crossover. Do you see it here, Ike? So I can double click and put it in, or I could have just added. So if I double click my SMA, let me just make another note here. And you may want to send that out as well, Daniel, that if you're using a Mac, it's a good idea to use Chrome. Because sometimes in the double clicking and the right, sometimes Safari doesn't.
Like for the virtual desktop?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times people find out that we were having problems. And it was, who knew before? I do the sample MA crossover. You see this, Sophia? And notice what I have is I have two parameters. One is fast, just like we did before, 10 days. And one they defined as slow as 25 days. And then we have Apple, which is great. And this is one thing that everybody needs to know. This is key. Sophia, you may even want to tell everybody too. When we pick our sample MA crossover under properties, SMA crossover, properties, check enabled. If that's not checked, you won't see anything. So Sophia, when anybody in your group says it, you'll just tell them, easy when you know it, right? Make sure this enabled. You see this? Dylan, you see this? Gets checked. Why is it? Zach Berman, the reason is this is going to be an automated trading system. We're using simulated data, meaning we're not tied to a brokerage. We don't have money in an account. But if we were, this system trades automatically. So they are making it by default not enabled to make sure, Zach, in your group, are you sure you want to use this strategy? Because we're going to go out and we're going to execute. And the computer is going to do all the trading for you. So that's why. And now we want to make sure we say apply. And it says, look at this, Zach. Although you have order confirmation enabled, orders generated by a strategy will be submitted without confirmation. We're dealing with the strategy because it's already having the rules to tell us when to buy, when to exit, when to short, when to close the position. And now we say, okay. This is back testing. This is in 365 days. How well was it executed, this strategy? Where we see we have the gold. That, and if I wanted to say, I'm not sure what that gold is that the fast or is that the slow? If we wanted to, we could go to properties and it would tell us that's 10 days. So that's our fast. If we wanted, see this little green, I don't like the contrast, Zach. What did we use before? I can just right click, go to properties. I know that this is going to be my slow. Instead of the green, I want that dark turquoise. You can make the differences there. It doesn't really matter, but don't you see it better?
Yeah.
Zach? Now, Zach, this is the key. Anytime I see a dotted red line, do you think I made money or lost money? Red. In finance terms,
Lost.
lost. Look how many reds I have. And notice, let's even see this. In this case, what happened here, right here, if I look at this, it said sell short. So it's expecting sell short means what, Berman? Going up or going down that I expect?
That's going down, right?
Right, to sell short. And what did it do? It went up. So it got out here, right? It said close the position, right? So, and here it stayed too much in the trade. It should have gotten out at this point because we have to figure out what is the algorithm to let me know this. So you can see that this was really, I don't even see any greens. So what we can do, you see how in the corner here, Sophia, it says AAPL? I can pull this down, or I could type another symbol in the black area, and I could go, let's say, to the NASDAQ 100 or the S&P 500, and I could choose another stock. What I'd like you to do before I even see this, I know this is a loser, but let's just even pick something. I'll just pick another one just to see. And when I pick another one, you see how it switches all of a sudden? Now at this point, Berman, it says sell. In this case, you see here, it basically right here, this blue, right? It says close the position, and it says blue means buy. So it should have really gotten out here if I need to change it, but it got out here, so it's not so bad. Right? And let me see back here, I got a lot of reds. But whatever it is, I want to see how I did the performance. So how do I do the performance? Everybody put in their notes here. You want to right click. You want to go to strategy performance, sample SMA crossover. And you want to go to real time and historical. And I see right here, Ike, I want to change my strategy performance and put that in your notes. You want to have strategy performance in percentages. Why, Ike? Because whatever this company is, right, ADP sells at a different amount than Apple or Meta or Microsoft. So I'm going to change it to what? Percent. So at this case, then, if I can change it, then add percent, reds mean what? Good or bad? Ike?
Bad.
Bad. So what did do well? The long trades did do well, right? The short trades. So if we wanted to improve it, we could go back and improve it. If I want to go back, I can just go down here and go back to my chart and say, you know what, let's try, in this case, like try Microsoft. So I could even just type, I'm just starting to type. Let me do Microsoft just for the heck of it. I go to Microsoft, it loads it, right? How do I get to strategy performance? I go to strategy performance, SMA crossover, real time and historical. This already looks better, doesn't it? So at least what I want to do, Ike, is at least have all my trades be positive, right? So your goal for your group is each person in your group, Ike, you can take the role and try. It's picking and choosing right now. This strategy for 1025 for the SMA gives me at least 7%, 15% for the long trades, which is not bad. And my short trades were losers. So if I were asking you, how could you improve this strategy, Ike, what could you say?
Can you say that again?
If I asked you, we see all trades were 7.21, long trades, Ike, were 15, and short trades were minus. And I asked you, you're going to be consulting with the trading group, and you want to give them a suggestion what they should do with this trading strategy. How could they improve this trading strategy?
Probably go long more than short.
Get rid of the shorts. Exactly. Tell them, just take out the shorts. And what would you do at this point for your exercise is you would do what? You would then export it right here at this point, right? You would put then what company you had. So I used, in this case, Microsoft. You would put the symbol. You would then put what, in this case, not only the symbol, but what was you did SMA 1025. And what did you get in this case? You got, overall, you got, let's say, 7%. I'll just put overall. Overall, 7%, and you put your name. Full name. Do I have to put the date and time? It includes it automatically. And that it was Ninja Trader. I'm going to copy this. And copy how you save the file, copy it to the clipboard. Now I'm going to save it. And what should be happening now, Mia? Excel comes up. You see that, Mia? And now what I want to do is I want to insert a line, insert a record, insert a row, and I want to put that information right there. So we know it's Microsoft, and in the sheet, I see exactly it was what, 7.21%. So in this one right here in this sheet, I'm going to rename the sheet to the symbol and the overall of 7.21%. And then I'm going to save it. And I can save it to your desktop, which is the virtual desktop, or you can even save it to the University of Miami OneDrive, or you could save it to the desktop and then open up a browser and save it to your email, send it, or any other place you have. And notice here I have the desktop, that S Russian, it's the desktop, not my own, right? It's the virtual, and save it, and then you would upload it, and it says already exists because I've done it already, and it's done. And then once I have it here, this is all right, but I would try to see if I could get it better. You understand that, Daniel Lee? I could see if I could get it larger. And then later on, our next exercises is maybe, you know what, Dylan, I'll tell you, you know what, why don't you go and try all 500 stocks on the S&P? And you know what, if a professor asked me to do that, I said, God, there got to be a better way. I'm going to waste my time and do this 500 times. And I'll show you there's a way in which to let the computer look at all 500 stocks at once. Isn't that better? Let it go through and then sort it from the highest to the lowest, right? Let it do 500. And think about it, right? I did 1025. Maybe it's better in this case, Daniel, to do, let's say, 50 and 100, or maybe it's better to do 20 and 35 for my SMA.
Well, the lower the number, the more trades you're going to enter.
Yeah, so you can play around with, but let the computer try to find out what's the best combination.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting there going 10, 25, or maybe 26, 10, 26, maybe 10, 27, 10, 28. I got something better to do with my life. And that's what'll be our next exercise. So I'll save it and I'll do it. Questions. So now once I've saved everything, I've done my Excel. I can get out of my Excel. Basically what I can do at this point too, I've saved this. I can try to maximize it. I can close all my performance. You see this? And even my control center. But let me just show you one more thing that you're going to get so excited about, Kaylee. You remember new? Mia, you remember new? Everybody put a note here. If I go new Ninja Script Editor, let's see if something comes up. And you see on the right-hand side, it says strategies. Do you see that, Mia? What strategy did we use?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Okay, what strategy did we use? Dylan Lee.
Was it the crossover one?
Right, the crossover. Remember, Mia, sample MA crossover? And if I use sample MA crossover, this is so small, so let me make it larger. And right here, let me make it just. Okay, can you see it? So basically, if I looked at this, this is the code. Remember we talked about source code? This is the source code. We didn't write it, it develops it, but look at right here. What did we say fast was, Daniel?
The 10.
10, slow is 25. And now what we need to look at is just right here, the rules. You see this, Daniel? That what we need to do here is, if you see at this point, if the fast crosses above the slow, what should we do, Daniel? What
Enter
should
the
the
long.
computer do? Enter long. Buy it. Else if the fast crosses below, this is the logic. What should we do?
Short. Is this
And
C sharp?
Yeah,
Okay.
enter short. But we don't even have to have, everyone in the class doesn't even have to know one bit of programming, right?
Yeah.
They can read this and kind of make sense out of it. On your exam, I am not asking you to write the code. Did you hear that, Mia? I'm not going to ask you to write the code, but you need to know what, for instance, the example of what was the rule. And in our case, the rule was if the fast crossed above the slow, we entered long. Now, you remember in this case then, Ike, when you said that we should get rid of the shorts? You remember that, Ike? Is Ike there?
Yeah.
Daniel, okay. What can we do to get rid of the shorts? Just eliminate. You would just tell your programmers, or you could do it, just eliminate these two lines, the else if. Just let's go long. That's all we need. That's the script editor. So what they have, Daniel, which is interesting, is, I'm going to say no to this, is they have a wizard where you can write in English what you want to do, and it creates the strategy for you. And now with AI, when they're doing AI, where it's basically low code or no code, that's what people are going. If I know about a certain industry, I can do that industry. So now I'm going to go to power. I'm going to disconnect. I'm out of here. I'm now in my, if I go now to my audit area, everybody go to the audit area. And under courses, I'm going to go to H1 audit area, and everybody go to H1 audit area. I go to groups. And under groups, I'll go to group 0A. You remember we had the Zoom and the trading strategy. Everybody, you should even do this now, is make yourself another folder and follow group 0A's lead. Trading strategy. There's one called back testing. And what Dylan put in the front, and everybody in your group will put in another symbol. What was the overall and what were the dates that you used? And then inside is his spreadsheet and with his name, SMA crossover 1025 back test, the ticker, the strategy, the net profit, the long, the short. You can see here, the short was what, Ike? Minus ways to improve. The long trades of MDA show tremendous profit. To improve, I go to the algorithm and emit the short trade code. So you get the idea, Si?
I do.
And what it is what some people will be doing is just monitoring it and saying, hey, we're losing, and these are the amounts I want to, set boundaries. But this is what they call algo trading. And what AI will do is start figuring out a lot of those, improving a lot of these strategies. Do you see that, Ike? So it'll go through all these stuff. It'll go through thousands. What do you care? It'll go through thousands of different combinations and strategies and try to pick up what? What is your objective, Ike? Maximize profits. Don't And if I get 5%, what do I want? Let's see if I can get 10% or 20% or 40% or diversify. And as a whole, right? Will it always be accurate? Of course it won't. And even a strategy that worked for 6 months will stop working because the market changes. Questions? So I'd like you to begin this and go with the group then, Si. When you meet with your group, basically everybody can kind of figure out what symbols they have that they can just use different symbols. You can work together even in Zoom, right? You can do it together. You can meet in the lab in the SBA 204. It has it on the machines, or you can meet somewhere else with your group, or you can make sure that you can help each other in doing it. But each person will be doing their own. Any other comments, questions? Daniel?
I guess the only thing, like you were saying, remove the short to maximize profit, but that's only based off of the last year. I mean,
Yeah,
market
that's all we're
conditions
doing.
could
We're just
change.
taking it as a hypothetical, of course.
Like, wouldn't you say removing the short would make it a much more risky strategy if market
Yeah, but
conditions
for
do
right now,
change?
if I just wanted to,
Like,
but this, you
if we're
understand?
maximizing profit in the back test, that doesn't
Yeah.
really apply to future. So, like,
Of course. Even this
yeah,
thing, the whole thing, right? Just because it may be the end of it's all, if you looked at a lot of those tech stocks, a lot of them are now going down where they were just booming.
yeah. I
A
guess
lot
my
of this
point is
trade.
like, you could have the perfect strategy for the
Yeah,
last
you
year.
can have the perfect strategy, everything, of
Yeah.
course. But my purpose is not to make people traders, but the purpose is to understand what is source code, what is back
Yeah, then
testing.
okay.
You understand? Of course. Everybody understand what Daniel was saying? Is just because I say it's for this period of time, next week it may not, it may be the shorts may be doing well. Or he's saying maybe put in the shorts because then later on it will even out. It's much more complicated. If it were so easy, right? All of those day traders wouldn't be losing money every day, right? In general, What else? Anything else, Daniel, in terms of what we need to tell our students?
That sounds like about it. Yeah.
Okay. So stay with me if you have questions. Otherwise, what I'd suggest you do is don't wait till Tuesday. Right, Haley? Don't wait till Tuesday. I'd say get on it tonight. And then when you get issues, what should you do? You can record them. This is where I got stuck. Ask around different people, and then you can come say at the end, we got all the way here, and this is where we got stuck, rather than it didn't work. And then help each other, right? Somebody said, I didn't get any data. What's the first thing you tell them, Si? Look in the lower left-hand corner, see if you connected to data. And then they said, I didn't get the strategies. And what would you tell them? In this case, Sophia, did you enable it? Did you do that little check mark? And then it would be the idea of playing around a little bit, right? Of seeing what was a higher percentage. And of course, Daniel, this is not how real trading, is working.
Yeah,
The people are
very
just kind
simplified.
of, it's very, very simplified. But we kind of are crawling before we work. And then later on, it may be, I can't come up with a strategy, but I can use other people's strategies. And some of the times I can buy other people's strategies and I'm just monitoring them. And a lot of those quant traders, right, are, I told you, 250 starting salaries with commissions. But it's also like a team. You may know a certain industry well, and I say, you know what? I think now before the elections and so forth, it may be more choppy. So let's try another strategy, or maybe other things that we're talking about. Okay. All right. Anything else? I'm going to do attendance. And reminder that March 6th is we're having an exam. So what I'll do next week is also go over what are the types, especially I'll give you a sheet of what will be on the multiple choice. It'll be similar to the quizzes that you've already taken. And what are the types of questions that will be on the open-ended. So that's why you need to do the exercise. Even when you say, oh, I'm just not going to do the exercises, doing the exercises will be asked certain questions of what you did the exercises about. Okay? Anything else I need to do? So let me share my screen and let's do attendance and I'll stay. Go to the other version, attendance. And I'm going to do check-in. Start check-in. And it's 51:58. Stay with me if you have questions. Otherwise, we'll see each other on Monday. Take it over, you know, I mean, do the exercise. And once you get it done, it doesn't take that long.
Right.
It's just getting those little parts in there and help others in your group. And
Of course.
even, you know, when you're looking at it, others can help too.
I would actually have a quick question. What
Yeah.
would you say is like the best way to study for the exam? Like
I'll
going over past quizzes or
first pass quizzes, and then in
Okay.
the you have at the end of every Wiley book, you have flashcards, and then they have quizzes on there.
okay.
And
Is
then I'll
it-
give you, you know, like a review list. But the review lists are basically those things that, you know,
Okay.
a good way is if you start with the quizzes, you know, be similar to that.
So the format's the same as the quizzes essentially.
There'll be two parts. Format will
Okay.
we'll be doing it on the computer. We'll
Right.
be doing it in the lab.
Okay.
And you'll be sitting in the lab and I'll be there too. So if you know something, and then I'll also have the IT staff there when things go wrong, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you'll bring your laptop, you
Right.
know, so just in case. And then you'll take it, you'll have a multiple choice and you'll have open-ended. And
Got
in
it.
the past, you'll have two questions for the open-ended. Sometimes I found the people that studied more like to do the open-ended first, because it kind of was bright in their mind, because the questions won't be new. You know, I'll give you like 4 possible questions and I'll choose like 2 from them. So
Okay,
some people like to do that. Other people like to say, I want to do the multiple choice first. But
Got it.
I used to say do the multiple choice, then do open-ended, but I figured, why should I tell people how they want to take a test, right? Doesn't it make
Right.
sense?
Yep.
Everybody takes tests differently.
Absolutely. Thank you.
My pleasure. Keep up the good attitude.
Thank you.
Okay. And come with questions on Monday.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. And let me stop sharing. Okay.
Go live on YouTube.